Welcome back to the Pretty Healthy Family Podcast. So I've been struggling. And so I'm recording this podcast and it's Friday. I have a schedule that I like to keep, and podcast recording is usually on a Tuesday. But things happen, life happens. And when life happens, there's a certain decision that gets made, and it's made like in seconds where I think I need to do this other activity. It's more important. This can wait. And there's a saying, people do what they do because it makes sense for them at that time. And in that moment, the decisions that I've made thought, this is a lower priority item. I'll move it to the side. I can do it later. Or I'll have time later. And now it's Friday. I was supposed to do this on a Tuesday, and I have things which are already scheduled for Friday, but this has now become a higher priority item. And so many of the people we talk to, there's this, I'm struggling to find time. I'm running out of time. I don't have time for my health, my fitness, my nutrition, whatever that may be. And it's really this result of, in the moment, we make the decision that I don't have the time. This is a lower priority item. This other thing is a higher priority item. And what I wanted to talk about today is, why is that? Why are these things a higher priority? And many times it's not necessarily your fault. We live in a culture that is pushing this. And that's really what I wanted to talk about today is all these cultural influences that are pushed on us every single day, which gives us this idea that no, you won't have time because these other things are more important. We're training you to think about these other ways, which isn't a healthy life. But of course, we are a health coaching business. How do you get past those influences? How do you still see success? How do you balance it all? And that's really what we wanted to dive into towards the end of this podcast is, even though with all the things that are stacked against you, how can you still be successful? Because I think we have some really good suggestions. It's about 4 or 5 suggestions that will help you still be successful. Find the time to get the healthy meal in, get the workout in, do what you need to do to be your best self, be your best self for you, and be your best self for your family. So that's what this podcast is all about. And the first topic is our immediate gratification culture. So I remember back in the day, like, if I wanted to watch a certain television show, I had two options. I either A, had to record it on a VHS tape or wait till it came around the next week. Those were my two options. And so if I wanted to watch a new episode, I just had to wait. And now I can just go on Netflix. There's a billion different opportunities. I can Amazon Prime, Disney, there's a HBO. Like, they have so many suggestions out there because I want something now. And we have Amazon Prime. So if I want a certain product, if I need toothpaste, I don't even need to run to the store. I can buy it, get it delivered in a couple hours. If I want to like lower my stress, we have things like apps. We have social media. Most of you have started following us because of social media, but a lot of us do it as a stress relief because it gives that immediate gratification of, oh, this is getting my mind off of work. This is getting my mind off of a certain stress. So it's that immediate gratification. And I'll argue that many times our stress is actually higher afterwards, but that's a different podcast. That's something else we don't need to talk about today. So we live in this immediate gratification culture, and it's reinforced every single day. And on the complete opposite end, we have health. Health is very much a delayed gratification concept where I eat one healthy meal. I'm not going to have tremendous energy for the rest of the day. I may have better energy an hour or two later, but then I have to eat another meal to get that energy. If I do one workout, I'm not all of a sudden super fast, super strong. I have to do like 30 of them all month for months and months on end, and sometimes years, just to see the success that I want to see. It's very much a delayed gratification. And so when we're in a society that pushes constantly for immediate gratification, and we know that health is one of those delayed gratification items, it's really just kind of like pushing the rock uphill. It's hard. It makes it a struggle, and it makes it feel like it's not worth our time. And The second thing I wanted to bring up is our cultural norms. When you think about traditional masculinity or traditional femininity, whatever that may be, like I'm a man. So my status in society is largely focused on how much money do you make? You go to a party, what do you do? Like, what do you do for work? And that's really built off of, as a culture, we value how much money do you make because you can probably consume more things. So we're very much in a society that is going to judge you by how much money you make. So if you're struggling to find time and you have a choice between I need to finish this work item or I need to eat healthier or do a workout, our society would say, you need to do the work. You need to do things that will help you make more money because that's how we're going to judge you. We have a thing called Dadbod, and the whole narrative behind it is the people who may not be in the best shape, they're not in the best shape because they're prioritizing being a provider, because that's how we're going to judge men in our society. But those men who are providers are probably doing more work than actually hanging out with their kids or being their best self as they show up for their kid, which really is only a product of a healthy life because you can show up better and more present and have more energy when you're living a healthy life. That's how you show up better. But we don't see that. Our culture does not push that. We push, we're going to judge you by how much money you make. And so that's where some of these cultural norms really push us to say, you know what? I am in need of status. I'm in need of attention, appreciation. If I make more money, I will achieve more status and appreciation. People will give me more respect. And if I do the one workout, especially when there's delayed gratification, that's a low return on my time. And so that's where it's just things are working against you. One of the other things that we have definitely seen be magnified in the last 10, 20 years is the lack of health education, lack of proper health education. You think back in my day, it was the food pyramid with nothing but like white bread on the bottom. And then now I open up social media and the first thing I see is like, you're not supposed to eat till 11 a.m. And even when you do eat, you're only supposed to eat for like a handful of hours. The next one says, oh, by the way, you're only supposed to eat meat. Do not touch vegetables. They're good and they're toxic. And the next one says, meat's toxic. You should only eat vegetables. And then the next one says, oh, by the way, fruit has way too much sugar. It's killing you. No wonder so many people are confused because no one's given out proper health education. And the people who are trying to give out proper health education, like we are, we're one of a million other people, and we're the 1%, where the 99% are still saying, hey, it's this other thing that's quick fix, which will help you lean into that immediate gratification culture to get you status. That they're using all these cultural things to say, this is how you do it. And it's really easy. And one we'll talk about later. By the way, it's the supplement that I get a kickback from or I get a kickback from some other company. So that's where we just see it's so confusing out there. There's not any proper health education to help you get the results that you're looking for. The other thing that have noticed more and more lately is like we moved here to Florida about a year and a half ago now. And if I drive down the road, there's probably, let's say in the first 20 restaurants that I see, one of them probably has healthy options, a wide array of healthy options. The other 19, they're not healthy. And if I want a gym, the good quality gym out there that has like nice equipment, it's been taken care of, it's like 20 minutes away. It's difficult. And when you start factoring in like it's a 20-minute drive, it'll probably take me 10 to 15 minutes just to get my stuff together, to work out for an hour, and then 10 to 15 minutes to gather my stuff, 20-minute drive. That's a 2-hour ordeal. And when you're strapped for time, taking 2 hours to get a workout in that's never going to happen. You're going to have to wake up at 3 in the morning to make sure you're back home to help with the kids and all the things that happen there. So we don't make health easy because of how we build our society. So that's another hurdle that you end up having to run against. One of the last two is really the social identity. and people's perception of themselves, what they want to do, because it is difficult, because there's so many things that are working against us. It's easier to say, I just don't have the time and let's go grab pizza and beer. It's easier to do that. And if you're the person that says, no, I'm going to do this other thing, you feel judged. I know when I was working in the corporate world that when we would cater for a lunch, and let's say it was nothing but pizzas or barbecue, whatever it may be, and I'm trying to choose a healthier option, people do look at you and like, oh, are you on a diet? Oh, you must be really healthy. And they don't do it like I think that's a good thing. They do it because in their narrative, I should have made that choice. You're stronger than me, and I'm kind of judging you for it. And we don't like being judged. We want to be friends with people, we want to be liked. So it's hard when other people's like social identity, how they see themselves, their perception of themselves, it makes it harder to choose a healthier option because it is so prevalent in our society to choose the unhealthy option. So there's where there's different aspects of how you become healthier. It just makes it more difficult. It adds stress, which is the last thing. We don't really value in our society proper mental health, proper stress mitigation techniques. I know something that's been super helpful for me is meditation and journaling. And a lot of people just, oh, they hear that. Oh, that's woo woo stuff. That's something for like yogis. We have a picture in our mind of the people who do those type of things. And that's usually not us. But it's been helpful. And it's been helpful because it's a way for me to handle my stress. So what we typically see in our society is I handle my stress by going through my phone, or I'm watching a YouTube video, I'm distracting myself, or I'm working harder because, again, our society is pushing you to produce more, make more money, because that's how we're going to judge you. So instead of actually dealing with your stress during the workday, you're like, I just need to buckle down. I need to be more disciplined. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that because over time you break or you're just a shell of the person that you were. And I see this a lot with people who are in their 40s, in their 50s, in their 60s, who like, I was all about the grind. And so much of our conversation is trying to figure out who you are. Like, who's the real you, not the person who needs this success and who measures themselves by the success they have achieved with work. Who are you? And I mean, we see this a lot with people who are retired, who work with such a big part of their life that it's not there anymore. So they're in this identity crisis of I don't know who I am. And that's what this culture really does to people. So if you're not really becoming in tune with who you are throughout that journey, there's some hard questions that's coming up. Like it just is. So these are so many of the things that are working against you, which really makes sense when you say, I just don't have the time right now because I feel the pressures of society. I feel that I'm stressed and I just need a quick, like 2 minute release. So it's social media, it's turning on the TV, it's food, whatever that may be. And then I got to get back to work. We feel that stress, those demands from our society. But there's also that harsh truth that there are people who are juggling more and are still making gains. They're still seeing results. They're still making it work. And so how are they doing that? What are they doing that we're not? And that's what the latter half of this podcast is about. So the first thing that people are doing is they're recognizing health has to be a core value. It has to be something that is so important to me. I'm going to make it a priority. Like I said earlier, people do what they do because it makes sense to them. When health is your core priority, you find a way. And I hate this example, but it's true. If my kid was in trouble, let's say there was an accident and they said, you need to come up with $10,000 to help him out to pay for this bill for this accident, I'm going to find a way. Every parent will find a way. But when it comes to, I need you to be healthy for your kids, it's that's can get pushed to tomorrow. There are other things which are a higher priority. So in many ways, it has to become an emergency for us to wake up that this should be a higher priority item. And for the people who are successful, it's a core value. They make time for it because they know they want to show up as their best self for the family. And it's hard to hear. I know it's super hard to hear it, but it's true. You make time for the things that are priority in your life. One of the guys said in our group call this week, like, if I don't put it in my schedule, then it doesn't get done. And that's how he makes it a priority. He showed us his schedule. I work out from 5:30 to 6:30. At 6:30, I'm trying to help out with the kids, make sure the kids get to school on time. Like, I'm making my schedule my way to fit work, family, health, all of that in. Because if it's not on your schedule, it's not a priority. And they say if you need to see what your priorities are, either look at your budget or look at your schedule. One of those things will highlight where your priorities are. And it's kind of true. So he puts it in a schedule. And the other thing he talked about, it's something that I feel like we talk about quite often here, is you got to be flexible. A rigid structure hardly works long term. Let's say today you're just running around the block. That is your workout today. Maybe tomorrow you're doing like an Orange Theory class or some F45 class, or just going to a gym. Like, trying to assess the situation. Where can I fit in something? Because a something starts that flywheel of I have more energy. When I have more energy, I'm more efficient. And when I'm more efficient, I get more done. Like, that's the flywheel you want to start in your life. So maybe it's a 5 minute, I'm going to just do jumping jacks and maybe some push-ups for 5 minutes. Great. That's Monday. We did a workout earlier in the week at CrossFit, which it was 20 minutes of air squats, push-ups, and pull-ups. That's it. You can go on Amazon, get a pull-up bar that goes over your door, do that exact same workout, and it takes 20 minutes. You can do it at home. Those are ways where you can start to do little things that add up over time. And let's say you did that 20-minute workout every day of the week. And granted, you'd want to switch it up. This is just a scenario we'll talk through. Let's say you did it every day of the week. You're going to feel better at the end of the week. Feeling better helps you accomplish more things. Again, it goes back to just starting that flywheel of one healthy meal creates a little bit more energy. The second healthy meal creates even more energy. Combining it with a workout, you start seeing how you have the time, but it's really adjusting your priorities to make the time for the things that are better returns on your time. And that's really what all healthy options usually are. It's a return on your time. I have more energy. I'm more efficient because I chose health as a priority. And all of this kind of revolves around one idea. I have become aware of my stress points. When I'm stressed, I'm going to default to what's easy or what's going to produce the quickest results. And again, with health being a delayed gratification thing, health is usually low on that priority list unless it's a core value. So recognizing those moments when you get stressed is super important, because when you're stressed, you're going to default to food. You're going to default to grabbing your phone. You're going to default to these other things, which aren't healthy options to help you de-stress. And trying to decouple the action from the feeling, that's really where I like meditation. I like journaling as a tool to help recognize those times when I'm stressed, trying to decouple that and then recouple it with something that is a healthier option. That's how you find time, because I do see when I'm super stressed, my screen time goes way up. And that's not a coincidence. It's because it's easy, it's simple, it's immediate gratification. But I know when I'm at my healthiest self and I'm stressed, I recognize, you know what, I need to walk around the block. I need some downtime. I need some balance to that stress. A lot of finding time is just building awareness around the times when we squander it with small stress mitigation techniques that don't work. And the last thing, that people who are successful with this, they're proactive. They are not reactive. And in times of stress, when you don't feel like you have enough time, you have blinders on. Like we said, you lack the awareness to see all the other options. And when you become proactive, like, I'm going to take an hour, meal prep 10 to 15 meals this week, You're proactive, which then helps you during the week because you don't have to think about what am I going to eat? You have now made when that stress comes, I default to what's easy. You made a healthy option easy. And that was all a result of being more proactive with your time. And like people say, I like to set out my clothes the night before because that's me being proactive about who I want to be when I wake up. And the other thing that comes with it, if I need to wake up at 5, I'm proactive because I'm shutting down the TV at 8 p.m. I'm trying to get a good night's sleep. Those are ways that you can be proactive about the healthier choices you want to make in the future. So to close this out, like what we see is yes, we are in a society that is going to push the idea that health isn't a good use of your time because we want you to have immediate gratification. We want to push that you're going to be judged by the money you make or how you raise your family, and your physical attributes in terms of your health is a low priority item as we judge it in our society. We're also going to make it more difficult because the health gym is farther away than the McDonald's or something like that. And when you do choose the healthy options, we're going to judge you. These are all things that work against you to make you think, "Hey, man, I don't have the time because I don't want to feel judged. I don't have the time because it's going to take a little bit longer. I don't have the time because I just have to get this certain thing done because in the end, this is going to give me the status that I really want in society because I do want to feel like I fit in. I want to be liked. I want to be a part of this society. That's normal. That's a normal human thing. But in the end, how do you want to show up for yourself? In the end, how do you want to show up for your kids? And a healthier you is always going to show up better because you have more energy. You're able to, when your kid starts running down the road like our kid always does, like I can run after him and catch him because I trained in a way to be able to run, to be able to lift him up when he needs it. I am a more attuned parent because I choose healthier options. And I feel like that's what a lot of the parents we talk to, that's what they want. They want to be their best self. They want to show up as their best self for themselves and for their family. And the great part of this, a lot of the things that our culture judges you on, a healthier body can do those things better too. Trying to ask the hard question around why don't you value it? Why don't you find the time? And when you can ask those hard questions, you can start coming up with realistic solutions of, yeah, I'm stressed and I choose this other option because I just need to get rid of my stress. And maybe it's decoupling that action from that feeling and recoupling it with something else. That's how you're going to see success. That's how you're going to find time is you're going to have to take that hard look in the mirror and ask, why don't I value this? And how can I? If this is really important to me, how can I? And I know I'll be the first to say, no, everyone doesn't need coaching. All the information to help you be successful in your health journey is out there. It's on the internet. Like we talked about, it's a very confusing place, but it's out there. You don't need coaching. However, if you're finding it more difficult and you're not getting the results, that strategy that you're using isn't working. That's why we're here. We try to help people out to find a strategy that works for them. It's not ever a cookie cutter program that we put with people. It's what is your schedule? What is your life like? Let's create a schedule and a plan that works for your life. And that's how you're going to be successful. That's how you're going to be successful long term. And that's why our program is vastly different than every single program out there. Most programs, hey, we're a 6-month program. We're just here to get you results. I want you to be a great testimonial. For me, I want my testimonials to be like, this is their transformation at 6 months. This is their transformation still at 5 years. This is their transformation still in 10 years. Like to me, that's the testimonial I want. And most programs aren't built to do that. They have, you do this. We do a teaching model where we say, these are your options. These are the pros and cons of all those options. I would choose this one, but what feels the best for you? Because that's the one that's going to be successful. And so this different approach is how you're going to be successful. So again, no, not everyone needs coaching. There's a lot of information out there. But if you're not successful, that strategy isn't working. So if you're struggling to find time, there are a lot of options out there. If you're looking for a way to make sure that you are successful for the rest of the year and in next year, give us a shout. The link will be below. And if you have any questions, please reach out.